everyone, it's Kai from WCC, and today we're going to look at a premium game. We haven't been looking at these for a while now, but it's from the recent WCC VGCS at Perth. So on the left we have the Derick Dao, who we all kind of know now. He's recently won BCS Cebu with Gold Paladin, and it looks like he's playing a very similar, if not the same deck that he played at Cebu. And he's basically qualified for Worlds third time in a row now, so congratulations to him. On the right, we have Marcus Chang, who unfortunately is not as well known as Derick, but is playing Paladin, and Paladin did do pretty well recently. We can see that Derick is in a pretty bad position now. He is gotten a G assist for a grade 1 and threw away. His hand is just absolutely terrible. It's basically a bunch of grade 0s and then 3s. So he's unlucky. He's just, yeah, there he is. He's G assisting again for a grade 2. So 2 G assists in a row. That pretty much just means his aggression is going to be pretty terrible. In fact, probably non-existent, because his hand is just a bunch of grade 3s. Meanwhile, Marcus is pretty good. He's ridden a tier, able to swing under Derick and just not give any damage. But to be honest, might not matter when you G assist twice. Oh, gets a crit. Got a crit. So Marcus up to 2 now. But Marcus rides misdirection and uses that effect to just draw 2 and put something into soul. So pretty good times for him. Derick's played nothing else out, so he is forced to either attack into that Kaiden, and he plays a damage increaser, the Sea Soul guy, to put back a heal back into his deck, basically. And it looks like he just passes, so correct move in a way. And Derick stays at grade 2 and plays out a hole to try and push damage again. Now, gives Marcus that second open counterblast, so Marcus can just ride up to grade 3, but if he's playing that damage deny game, he's going to be thinking to himself here, do I attack him or not? And if he really wants to, he can go into a Sea Breeze and then question whether he wants to attack or not. Yeah, so he does Sea Breeze. But if he goes Sea Breeze, he will be passing up a triple drive, and for a lot of people, passing up a triple drive is pretty tough. But to be honest, right, when your opponent has G-assisted twice, does it really matter at this point? You're probably just going, yeah, I can probably attack him, giving 1 damage, and then just pretty much win the next turn, right? It's not too hard. Basically, the absolute minimum that Pale Moon Loop needs is around 2 Crate Elemental. That's the absolute minimum, but it generally wants to be at 3 to play it safe. So having 1 Sea Breeze here, giving his opponent 1 damage. What can Gold Paladin do on the first stride? Can't really go into any counterblast required strides. So it'll probably be a Spear X or a Helios or something like that. And both those strides don't really do much to Pelmoon. So kind of just give him a damage and not care. I think the worst that Gold Paladin can do is just ride a Raven head and then just push a crit in. And that could probably be it. That's probably the best. And Marcus might not be able to guard that and then lose to a crit. So I guess that's what it is. So he's just going for the triple drive. He gets a stand and a draw. So that's quite okay. Getting that draw possibly leads into something good. Derick's turn now. He will definitely have to ride up to grade 3. His opponent has set up 1 Crate Elemental. So what will he do here? Rides the Ezel. Does have a Raven in his hand, so he can push that as well. He goes for an XL1, which is pretty interesting. And does use the Raven head skill to get a re-ride. And he's got a bunch of cards in his hand. He calls out the hole to counter charge. So he probably could have just strode and then gone into a Raven head after like a Spirit Slam like that, but it looked like he just opted to do this play. And at least those Excel 1s are boosting those grade 3s to hit those nice 22k numbers. Against Pelmoon, you generally want to hit at least 22 because they run a lot of pre-standard cards, which means they're basically not always going to have a 15k in hand. In fact, I don't think they have 15k guards at all, so they'll be forced to drop two cards to guard, at least, without using G-Guardians. I think Marcus is contemplating if he actually can guard this Ravenhead column. It's sitting 40k. Doesn't, but unfortunately Derick just triggers Bling, and triggers 2 Crate 3s, which is really, really bad. Now, Derick is really going to wonder, does he want to attack? And he passes, because he doesn't want to give Marcus the opportunity to G-Guard, set up another Cray Elemental, and maybe just force a kill right here. So, buys himself like an extra turn. Marcus now forced to stride into like a Marindol, and basically just attack Regards, I think. Probably the best play here. He has 3 attacks. That means 3 attacks into Regards, because there's 3 Regards that he can attack, and just pass the turn. Leave Derick with nothing, and then just kind of tank out a Spear X turn next turn, or Helios turn. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's set for next turn pretty much. He's got 3 Cray Elementals going to next turn. And so if Derick doesn't kill him, on his next turn, then he pretty much wins. Derick now will probably be forced to like ride and stride. Is the best play here. No counterblast means not much you can do with like another Ravenhead unless he has a haul, but I don't think he does. And goes into Spear X. Spear X calls out. If he calls out 3s of Spear X, it's good, but I think from that top 5 check, he didn't get any. He got like 1 Rezzles, which aren't that great. It's not what he's fishing for. He wants 15k guards, not 10k guards. Because 10k is still in that nice limit for Pale Moon. Basically calls out a bunch of jank, moves up the 7k Hoel, and just goes for this last ditch attack. He has to win now, or he's probably dead next turn. I don't think there's much to sweat on the Marcus side. If there's a null for Spirex, it's all G. If we assume he had a heal in the previous turn, he can just use that on the Platina XL1 column for an easy guard there. So it's pretty easy guard. He's got 2. Yeah, he's intercepting with 2 of them. Null here. Does Derick get anything? Gets a bunch of flanks again. All his triggers are in the remove from game zone after he had to G assist twice with them. This is just okay. G guard's a 5k guard, pretty easy. Uses the superior Gleam. Don't use Raktum, use a Gleam, old PR guard, and does another Gleam as well. So pretty dirty. It's like a 5 counter charge tier coming up, and then just last card doesn't hit, and I think that's pretty much GG Derick Dao. See you next game. Luckily for Derick, his next game is going first, and that is where Ezel really likes to be, going first, superior ride, and just blowing people out of the game. Marcus plays a misdirection, is to fish for some more cards probably, and all he needs to do is just call out a full field. Uses Brassy Bunny to filter and soul charge 2 more. Now, the good thing about Pale Moon is that even though its deck is going to go very low, with this combo, there's not really a way for you to lose, because he does run Pranksters, and whenever you soul charge a Prankster, you can just put it back into deck and search for another card and soul charge that card into your soul. But you actually don't have to use the second part of that effect. You can just put it back into deck, and that's that. And just keep on doing that until you don't deck out and basically win. So he just needs like 2 Peritons in soul, like a TR, an Artilleryman, and he's basically got the full combo up. I think he used Purple Trapezes to put in a Brassy Bunny, but didn't call anything out. But you should have to call out another card. It's compulsory, so bit of a misplay, but I don't think it impacts that much in this situation. Brassy Bunny is just going to attack, and here comes the combos. So keep in mind that Songstress does require you to boost, so just make sure you boost with your attacks, otherwise you just screw up your combo. And yeah, so you're just going to call out a bunch of 5k guards continuously with Peritons until Derick gets a damage check. And then once Derick gets a damage check and those pokes aren't hitting anymore, he's going to call out an Artilleryman. And that Artilleryman is fat. He's going to keep on poking with the Artilleryman, then attack with the other columns to reset the Artilleryman and to reset countercharge. So there he's called out a purple trapezist to call out the Artilleryman. That Artilleryman can attack, and then these other boost columns can call out another of the same thing. Can call out purple trapezist and Peritons to reset Artilleryman. Or when you're running out of counterblast, because when Artilleryman hits, you do need to counterblast 1, or you will lose your entire soul. So when you start running out of counterblast, you can just call out a Periton and a Tier instead, and countercharge all your damage, and then attack with those cards and call out a Periton and a purple trapezist, and then just continue your Artilleryman combo. And then keep on doing that until your opponent's dead. Now, if Derick is able to get 5 running damage checks, he might survive, or 4, because I don't think Marcus has that much soul. So 5 might be enough. But we already see that he didn't get 1 damage check. He only got 1 so far. He got a second, but that means he probably needs to heal on 6 like once or twice in order to not die. So one thing is that with the new Sumptuous loot builds, they don't run a lot of defense. Like, the best defense they have is like Tricky Assistant to just continuously minus your opponent's boards, but they're not rolling things like Honolly. Or like, I think the first iterations of Pale Moon ran Harry or Marja, so they can abuse the Marja G-Guard to call out Tricky Assistant in the battle phase, or call out Honolly's in the battle phase and just stop turns. But the new builds don't really do that. They just seem to just focus on the combo and pray they get a few damage checks when they need it, and kind of just hope they don't die that quickly. So they're kind of more all in, and we can just see Derick got looped out. So bad times for him. Hopefully he has a better starting hand and is able to go first and actually win the next game. But yeah, so the new loot builds don't really run much defensive options. If they actually just don't run much at all. So pretty interesting, I have to say. Pretty nice new developments when it comes to that. But I don't know what to think of that. I like running old Magia. I like running defensive cantrips, so I maybe don't agree with that, but it's working. It's working, so there's that. Now, one thing with Pale Moon, though, is that regardless of what build you face against, it basically doesn't have much of an early game. So if you kind of just YOLO, you see a Pale Moon and start YOLOing it, you're doing fine. You're kind of doing fine. They're always forced to attack regards and slow the game down until they can start getting into their stride phases, where they start doing a lot more pressure or get to their loop. Mintran's also a very strong Pale Moon player. You might have saw him at the Springfest streams for Australia. He was the one Pale Moon guy that was just attacking regards all day. So here we go. The game's begun. Derick has begun, and he is not G-assisting. But looks like Marcus is G-assisting, so the total opposite of the previous game. But I guess if you had to G-assist in one game, this is the game to do it, where you're going second against the Ezreal, because it's quite likely you're just losing anyway. So as long as you weren't G-assisting the game, you were ahead. So I guess that's okay. Still able to swing under and not give damage. And it looks like Derick is also G-assisting too. And I think Derick missed his G-assist, so that is bad times from again. But luckily he has 2 Howells, it looks like, and is able to pressure a lot of damage. No guards, gets a draw trigger, which is really good. But those Howells are gonna do work. They're gonna let Derick able to just push past these damage checks. And there we go. So he's forced 1 card out of his opponent's hand. And Marcus is on a pretty good times of running draw triggers in the damage zone. So, ride to Periton, use the starter's effect. It's actually a grade 3 search to get a Songstress. It just adds that extra consistency, which is okay. And it's probably just going to attack a Regard here. Calls out another Misdirection. Doesn't use the effect though, and he's just going to swing Regards, I think. Yep, that's correct. And then Derick G-assist again. Finally gets a grade 2. Hopefully that is a Bowmains. We'll see soon, because unfortunately the lighting is pretty bad. Yeah, that is a Bowmains. Is he going to Superior? Is he going to just go for it? Nah, okay, looks like he isn't. He's just going to call out a full field. Gets a crit. crits are good, but Marcus gets that second damage check heal. Can attack the rear guard at least with the front Hoel, and then the last column, it's 21 still, so he's able to still hit the Vanguard thanks to Hoel being such a boss. Just doesn't care about damage triggers at all. So here, Marcus, is he considering if he wants to ride up to grade 3 first? He has to. I don't see why he doesn't. He does have things to hit, so it's just perfectly fine. Calls out a tricky assistant, but doesn't use the effect. Kind of weird. Maybe I would have used the effect to at least bottom deck something. Bottom deck the back row. I mean, not bottom deck, soul in the back row to just wipe out more of the field. But decides to just attack rear guards. Derick did guard the Breadius. He just is using that to draw a card here. And he's calling a Platinum. Strides, basically rides and strides into Spear X. Calls a Platinum in front of a Hoel to hit that nice juicy 25. Also, there's a Kaiden from Spear X, which buffs that Hoel power gain. And calls a Hoel as well. That last column's only hitting 12, so not really much to do here. But here's the thing. Marcus doesn't really have much of a hand from all the damage tonight he's been doing. And here's Spear X gets some damage checks. It's 5k. Actually, I think he got a crit and he put it all on Regard. So doesn't want to just crit on the Vanguard and give Marcus the chance to get 2 damage trigger checks. Puts it all on the Regard to force out a juicy amount of guards. So force the G guard. I don't think that's enough. I think he has to guard with something else as well. But if you had like another G guard, that might have been enough, but he didn't. So now it's back to Marcus Chang. He strides. He is forced to stride, which is pretty bad times for him. If he doesn't kill him this turn, I don't think he has the hand to survive another turn, because both players have been G assisting this game. So both hand sizes are low, but with Gold Paladins, even when you G assist against a combo deck like this, you can just make a field anyway and just bash face. Now, Derick did Dismal, that Kaiden, so he could be just want to keep it alive for the Hoel power gains. This means that this tricky assistant actually has to hit a heal trigger, which is pretty low value, or hit a grade 3. Ow. He actually attacks Vanguard, which I think is probably the worst choice that you could have done in that situation. Because with 1 CB on a Gold Paladin first stride it doesn't really matter much, but on a second stride onwards, there we go. You got like Glorious Raining, which will enable multi-attacks on this Pale Moon player, on Marcus, and that's just bad times. He doesn't get a damage trigger here. He's just pretty dead. There's just going to be a lot of multi-attacks and GG. And that Hoel will trigger when the Glorious Raining does his effect. So yeah, he didn't get a trigger check, so I think it's pretty dunzos here. Glorious Rating's effect goes off. They can call up to 4 cards now. So calls out a Platina. I think that one was a grade 3. Should be able to call a few more. And then calls another Platina. And then whatever that last card is. Can't really see. Oh, it's an Ezel. So basically calls out 4 grade 3s. Which means that they're all hitting for a decent amount of numbers. Nulls the Vanguard. Doesn't get any trigger checks. This is 12k. 12, 17, 17. Marcus just can't guard any of that. So that's pretty much the second game for Derick, and comes down to the deciding game with Derick going second, which is good times for Marcus, because as long as Derick is not going first, there is an okay chance. But I mean, both players have been G assisting like crazy these games, so I mean everything has been pretty jank. Although Marcus had to G assist, he did some pretty good trigger luck in the beginning, which kind of salvaged that game for him. But Derick also had to G assist too. So exciting third game. There is the mat still on the line in this WCC VGCS. There is only one Luquia mat, and although it looks like Derick already has a Luquia mat from our buddy Solemn, that 0 damage Luquia mat, there is the other WCC Luquia mat up for grabs. I think there's also a plane trip up for grabs too for BCS Melbourne. So winner does get something, and yeah, there are still things on the line. So last game, they go for the shake. Marcus starts. What happens? No G assist, which is great. Has a tier, just 6k. So wow, what the heck? So Derick decides to stay at grade 0, and we do see he did flash a Hoyle for us, so we know he is consciously deciding to stay at 0. So what he could be thinking is that he stays at 0, he forces Marcus to give him at least 1 damage, unless Marcus passes, and then next turn he will ride up to a 1. Marcus will ride up to a 3, and then if Marcus passes game, that's fine. It means he hasn't been getting any cards. He's basically stopped getting 3 cards. Meanwhile, Derick can ride a 1, and then the next turn after that rides straight up to a 3, and then start pressuring him from there. And if Marcus gives him a damage here, then when he rides up to a 3, he can go into something like a Raven and pressure with crit, or ride a Platinum and pressure with a multi-attack there. So here he's gone Bowman's. He is gonna Superior Ride, I think. I'm pretty sure that's a Bowman's. He definitely has the Ezzles, and he's got double Hoel again, which is massive. It's gonna be he's able to push past triggers as well. So yep, goes for Excel 2. They probably could have gone Excel 1 this game, and then he's gonna just bash with double Hoel in the back, calls a Din Drain, and just calls another 3 to hit some numbers, put a lot of pressure. So Ezzle. So this doesn't happen quite often, but Ezzle should be gaining a Twin Drive on this because his opponent is at 3. He does get that effect to call another card to do multi-attacks. Gets a heal, and I think Derick forgot about that effect because it doesn't come up that much. It only does 1 drive check when he should be doing 2. Or it just could be elaborate BM, I don't know. This is hitting 25. He's able to hit numbers, and then the last Bowmains with the heal is hitting 27. Unfortunately for Marcus, he had no damage checks just then, so this is kind of rip in peace, I guess. He had no G guards. He's had to go into Marindol here. Basically, if he doesn't kill him this turn, I don't know how he can survive, because Derick can probably just ride and stride next turn. Go into something like Spear X, reset his Hoel columns to hit big again, and then just do like 5 attacks. Here Marcus like 3 cards in hand, goes up to 6, and then wow, he had 2 grade 3s. So yeah, I think he's just dunzos here. He needed some like heal draws to kind of at least stay in the game, but I don't think he is staying in the game. Derick rode and strode, so I think there's like, he's gonna call 2 grade 3s again. He's got another Hoel, so Hoels do kind of stack, but now he's thinking he could just call another Platinum. Yeah, so he calls on the Platinum, and then he's just gonna play over that last column, I think. Yeah, he calls a Criff there, it's fine enough. I guess, calls a crit as well, so that gets that Vanguard power pressure. Grade 3 does 17 to Vanguard. Marcus effectively only has 4 cards to guard with because 2 of them are grade 3s. So unless there's a null to use one of them, that's not happening. Needs a 10k guard. At least it's not 15k guard, but well, he has a G guard, so he's gonna discard for use a Gleam to try and get answers. But I don't think that's enough still. 37 has a null. That's nice. He's gotten rid of all his grade 3s. Derick gets a crit. And that is definitely not enough cards to guard. Only 2 cards in hand. Derick gets a crit. That Hoel column is hitting massive. And I think he's putting everything on that Hoel column. And yep, that's game. So Derick Dao, winner of WCC VGCS, now has 2 liquid playmats. And yeah, unfortunate, pretty crazy games to be honest. First 2 games, just lots of G assisting, very scrappy plays. And then last game, things go kind of swimmingly for both players, except I guess Paladin player didn't really get that many triggers later on, and just died there. So hope you guys liked that commentary and like these matches. We don't get to do premium that much because premium is more rare, I guess. And yeah, so if you guys want to support us, we are now sponsored by TCG Player. So We've got our affiliate links in the description below when you want to buy cards. TCG's play is pretty good if you want cards, so be sure to check them out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully maybe it's from another WCC VGS. There were quite a lot that were going on last weekend, so maybe we got a few games and you might just see them pop up. Alright, so see you guys later, and bye.